All right, here's a story which I just told, and I'm going to tell it again. The story happened, if I remember correctly, it was in Prague. And there was an old rabbi that he was the leader of the congregation. There were thousands of Jews in Prague. And there was the mayor was a person called General Draton, that he was a very evil person, a very hard person. He was a big war hero. Everybody adored him, but he hated the Jews, His father hated the Jews, his grandfather hated the Jews. He hated the Jews, but the Jews used to pay the taxes, so he didn't. He couldn't just destroy them at one time. He needed the money that they paid, but he hated them anyway. So it came to his attention that the Jews have a holiday which is called the holiday of happiness, Sukkot, the holiday of Sukkot, and they sit in Sukkot and they took a lulav and etrog. They take, in any case, it's a holiday of happiness, and that he couldn't stand. So his hatred to the Jews overcame his desire for money, and he said, I'm going to make sure that these Jews do not have any happiness, that they're not going to be happy. And I'll squeeze money out of them some way or other, but I'm going to make them what? He put out a decree that no one in the whole city of Prague could build anything for the next month without proper permission. In order to get the permission, you had to have all these letters from the government and all sorts of permissions, and to get the permissions, that itself took a month. So there was no way that you could build anything, not on your porch, not on your backyard, nowhere. The ground of Prague would be empty, no buildings. So the Jews read this, and the rabbi didn't know what to do. What are we going to do? It's going to be Sukkot. Sukkot is going to be another week. And he made this decree, this evil decree, that you can't build anything. It'll take for at least 2 months, no building. What's he going to do? So some people said, well, let's risk our lives and build. So this, what are we risking our lives for? He's just going to destroy all the sukkahs anyway. As soon as you won't even be able to build, as soon as he hears a hammer knocking or somebody building anything, he's going to destroy it. What are we going to do? So the rabbi made a meeting of all the honorable people, of the rich people and the big rabbis all of Prague. And one rich man said, listen, the decree says we can't make it on land. I have a ship that's docked in the harbor. We'll make it on my ship. What do you say? Another person said, listen, I'll provide the wood for the walls. Another person said, listen, I'll provide all the food. I have a catering, I'll provide all the food so that people won't have to carry in the streets. They won't see and we'll do the whole thing totally in quiet. We'll get only trusted workers to build, and we'll make the whole thing in quiet, secret, and put on the schach. We'll cover all the sides with, we'll camouflage the whole thing so it looks like it's cargo, and nobody's going to do it. And it worked. It worked. The whole thing worked. All their plans worked, and the government, this general, didn't know anything about it, and the people didn't know anything about it. Even the Jews didn't know anything about it. The rabbi didn't tell anybody. Until the night of Sukkot. Everybody thought they're going to have to eat their Sukkot meal in the house, and they wouldn't have any Sukkot, which considerably dampens the happiness of the holiday. But still, you have to be happy with what you've got. So the rabbi stood up on the podium and he said, and all the rabbis which were in their synagogues, Prague, that no one should eat their meals at home. There is a big sukkah that's built on the ship, and there's food there. Everybody be quiet, don't make any noise, walk through the streets quietly. And that's where they built the sukkah. Who knows? They tied it with ropes. They didn't use nails and hammers so that nobody knew about it. And sure enough, that's what it was. All the Jews, 1,000 Jews, whoever they were, they went in, they found places, and they were happy. The ship was on the dock. But somehow or other, the general found out about it. And the general found out what the Jews have tricked me. They made their booths on the ship. Said, I'm going to get them. I'm going to ruin them. I'm going to go. I'll kill them. I'll kill them all. He goes and he takes his 2 pistols down, his muskets, whatever they are. And he takes it down and puts them in his belt. And he takes his sword and he tells his 30, whatever his trusted men, his home guard, to come over. They jump on their horses and they race through the streets, through the wind, and they reach the ship and they put the plank down to go on the ship. And they all go up on the ship with their horses, without the horses. They burst into the sukkah. And the general looks at everybody and says, what is the meaning of this? And he fires his pistol in the air, and everybody is startled and they're all quiet. And the rabbi comes up to the general and he says, good evening, General, happy holiday. He says, what is the meaning of this? You Jewish people said, your general, your honesty, your majesty, or whatever, we're not doing anything against you. You said we can't build it on the ground. We didn't build it on the ground. We're building it on the ship. On the ship. And he looks, the general looks, and he sees all the people that are there. He sees the beautiful families and how everybody's faces are glowing and the children's eyes are gleaming, and everything is so clean, and everyone is the smiles are just fading from their faces. And he sees that he just wrecked all their happiness, and he sees that no one has a gun and no one's standing up to oppose him except for this old rabbi. And the rabbi says, we Jewish people have been celebrating for 3,000 years this holiday, General, and all we want to do is just to be happy and bring blessing to the whole entire world. When the Jewish people are happy, it's all to your benefit. Tell me, General, why do you hate the Jews? What have you got against the Jews? What have we done to you? How have we harmed you? The general says, he looks around, he puts his sword back in, and he says, why do I hate the Jews? He says, because I hate the Jews. Everybody hates the Jews. So, okay, I know everybody hates the Jews, but why? My father hated the Jews. My grandfather hated the Jews. He says, okay, but General, you're the mayor, you're the leader. What do you hate us for? What are you benefiting from? The general said, you got a point. You got a good point, especially when he saw the holiness of the evening and how everybody was about to be happy just to serve the Creator. That's all they wanted. They weren't interested in making money or taking anything from anybody. All they wanted to do was just serve the Creator. So he said, okay, I'll rethink this thing. I'll rethink it. And meanwhile, have a happy holiday. And from then on, that's General Draton became a friend of the Jewish people. And so it will be to us. Why does the world hate the Jews? Now we have anti-Semitism bursting out in the world in unparalleled measures. And what's the motivation behind it? Nobody knows. No one has any idea. No one has any idea why. And all the semi-reasons that they give are not really even reasons. Even the Germans gave better reasons than the Nazis gave better reasons than what they have. The Jews have all the money. The Jews they're undermining the government. These people just hate Jews because they're Jews. When suddenly everybody starts to realize, hey, why are we doing this? What's the point? Why should we hate anybody? And especially the Jews. All the Jews are, and they start to realize the reason that they hate the Jews is because they hate God. And the Jews are God's people. And God is creating everybody. It ends up that they're really hating themselves. And that will bring happiness and meaning to the world. And that's the idea of the Mashiach. Mashiach is a person that's going to wake up all the Jews to realize, why are we hated? Because we're trying to do good. And why do people hate us? Because they're trying to do evil. And that's the only reason. And when that happens, is that people stop wanting to do evil and they'll realize that it's not to their benefit. And then the whole world will be a happy place. That's why we need Mashiach now. All right.